He was born in a palace, captured as a slave, spoke with a foreign tongue, and yet he became the man for whom the Prophet said, "You made a profitable trade." This is not a story of wealth. This is the story of a man who sold the world and bought eternity. Suhayb ibn Sinan was born into wealth and comfort. His father was the governor of Al-Ubullah, appointed by the Persian Emperor Khusro. Raised in a grand palace along the banks of the Euphrates River near the lands of Al-Jazira and Mosul, Suhayb spent his early childhood surrounded by luxury, servants, and power. He knew nothing of hardship, only ease, safety, and privilege. But destiny never asked for permission. One day, Roman forces launched a sudden raid on the region. Cities burned, people were captured, and among those taken was the young Suhayb. Torn from his family and homeland, he was dragged into captivity. Passed from one hand to another, he eventually fell into the grip of slave traders. His long journey ended in Mecca, where he was sold as a slave. Suhayb spent his childhood and early youth in Roman lands. Their language shaped his tongue, their accent colored his speech. Even after arriving in Mecca, traces of that foreign upbringing remained. Yet despite his hardship, Suhayb possessed sharp intelligence, tireless energy, and deep loyalty. His master admired these qualities, freed him, and allowed him to trade. Over time, he became successful and wealthy. Then came the moment that changed everything. Together with his friend Ammar ibn Yasir, Suhayb stood before the door of Dar al-Arqam, where Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was secretly teaching Islam. Crossing that wooden threshold was not a simple step, it was a leap from one world into another, a world of truth, sacrifice, and responsibility. Inside, the Prophet presented Islam, and both men embraced the faith. From that day on, Suhayb walked the path of faith with unwavering commitment. He stood among the oppressed believers, enduring persecution, yet never retreating. He later said, "The Prophet of Allah never attended a battle without me being there. I never placed him between myself and the enemy." His loyalty was absolute. His faith was proven through action. The greatest test came with the Hijrah. When the Prophet prepared to migrate, Quraysh plotted to stop the believers. Suhayb was delayed, but he escaped and fled alone through the desert. When Quraysh caught up to him, he stood firm and said, "You know I am one of your best archers. I will not let you reach me until every arrow is gone and my sword is broken, or I will show you where my wealth is hidden." They chose the wealth. Suhayb gave up everything, gold, property, and years of hard work, and continued his journey empty-handed but victorious. When Suhayb finally reached Quba, the Prophet saw him approaching and smiled. "You have made a profitable trade, O Abu Yahya. You have made a profitable trade." And Allah revealed, "And among the people is he who sells himself, seeking the pleasure of Allah." Suhayb had sold the world and gained eternity. Suhayb was known for his humor, generosity, and gentle spirit. He spent everything he received for the sake of Allah, feeding the poor and helping the needy. When Umar once remarked on his excessive generosity, Suhayb replied, "I heard the Prophet of Allah say, 'The best of you are those who feed others.'" At the end of Umar ibn al-Khattab's life, after being fatally wounded, he gave a final instruction: "Let Suhayb lead the people in prayer." Despite Suhayb's foreign accent, Umar chose him for his sincerity, faith, and righteousness. It was a final honor granted to a man who had sacrificed everything for Allah. Suhayb ibn Sinan, a man who lost everything and gained everything. Suhayb ibn Sinan arrived with nothing. No gold, no property, no protection. Yet he stood richer than kings, because faith remained, integrity survived, and Allah rewarded a man who gave everything and lost nothing.